Okay, everybody, we're back with our Cabral HouseCalls. Appreciate you, as always, for joining me on the weekend edition of the Cabral Concept. This is where we answer our community's questions each and every weekend. And lately, we've been doing about 5 questions on Saturday and 5 questions on Sunday. So Saturdays and Sundays every single week. And now well over 5,000 questions answered. It's been a lot of fun. Honestly, I love getting to answer all of these questions, but mainly because I know that they're real people. And I hope that in some small way, I might be able to help another individual, just like I was able to get help when I was in my 20s trying to figure out how to heal. So let's dive right into it. First question is from Yvonne. Yvonne says, have just been advised based upon my blood work that I have reduced pancreatic function, 52.2%. My diet contains known sugar. I use stevia or monk fruit or natural sugars in fruits such as dates, and don't eat a highly processed foods such as gluten. So basically I have a clean diet. I also exercise. I'm not overweight. Was told I'm pre-diabetic with an hemoglobin A1C of 6. I had a sample of a continuous glucose monitor. Lowest rate was 5, and the highest one time 2 hours after eating was a 10. This must be overseas, non-US based, which I totally understand. I intermittent fast usually from 2 to 3 p.m. around until about 7 a.m. Is there anything else I can do to ensure pancreatic function doesn't continue to decline, as I don't want to be on pharmaceuticals? Thanks. All right. Well, it sounds like you're actually doing an amazing job. Most people don't know really the secret is to fast earlier in meaning in the evening. So if you can stop by 4 p.m., I'm not going to be able to. It's not that I'm not going to be able to, because you can do whatever you need to do. But I've chosen not to. And the reason is that I have dinner with my family at night, and I very much like that. And if I decided not to, I would be sitting there and not eating with them. And I just don't want to do that, right? And so, but I commend anyone who is able to stop eating by 4 p.m. because your sleep scores are going to be through the roof amazing. And you're going to be able to then, as Yvonne is doing, get what's she doing, about 8 to 10 hours plus another 7. So she's getting like 15 to 17 hours of intermittent fasting, but she's still eating at 7 a.m. So I think she's doing a lot of things right there for intermittent fasting. But I want Yvonne to know, and everybody to know, that the pancreatic function, so the pancreas has alpha cells and they have beta cells. So some produce insulin and some regulate the amount of insulin that's essentially produced, right? So production and then regulation. And the issue is that it's not always just about blood sugar. Pancreatic function, pancreas also produces enzymes. Those enzymes are also used to break down a lot of times fats or heavy meals. So just be careful that you're not substituting a lot of maybe some carbohydrates in exchange for very heavy fats and things like that. So a well-balanced diet will always get you further in life. That is the truth. Your exercise, I think, is amazing. I would say for your last meal of the day around 3 p.m. or so, go for a 20-minute walk then to keep, again, those blood sugar levels low. But now shift from food and exercise, because you're already doing that, and read the rain barrel effect and begin to work on the other factors, such as stress reduction, such as toxin removal, right? Such as mitochondrial function. All of those things might be what you're also missing. But keep up the great work, Yvonne. Read the Rain Barrel Effect. It's also free if you don't have a copy at stephencabral.com/free book. And keep working the process, all right? Keep going. Lynn is up next. I only recently heard about liposomal vitamins for the first time. Now I seem to be hearing them everywhere, including on last week's house call where you recommended liposomal glutathione to help with exposure to harsh toxins. Are liposomal vitamins better than regular vitamins? Or are there certain vitamins that are better if taken in liposomal form? Thanks. It's a great question. So I'm actually not a big user of liposomal vitamins. It's not that I don't think that they work. It's not that I don't think that there's great research. Is that many people have gut dysfunction, and how these vitamins are wrapped or packaged are in phospholipids, in basically fats. And the body needs to be able to properly break those down without it creating more inflammation in the gut. And for some people, it can. So I work with a lot of people with SIBO, with candida-based overgrowth, yeast overgrowth in the gut, with H. pylori, with stomach acid issues. If you have low stomach acid, that's going to be a problem, or parasites. And so I reserve liposomals for certain products. And one of those is really glutathione because it's poorly absorbed. But other products are just much better absorbed, and they're less than half the price. So here's the thing. A lot of people are, purchasing and recommending like single vitamins. I don't think most people need to take a vitamin B3 or B12 on its own. take it as part of an activated B complex, as part of a daily activated multi. You're going to get the nutrients you need there at a far more effective cost. Now, when is there a time and place for liposomals? When you really need to drive that nutrient home. Glutathione, poorly absorbed in the gut, that's a good choice to use it. Liposomal vitamin C, do I think you need it? Not really, to be honest. Vitamin C gets absorbed just fine. Will liposomal vitamin C increase it? Yes. Does it cost like 3 to 5x more? Yes. Is vitamin C also like very abundant that you could just take it every few hours if you wanted to as a water soluble? Yes, but I'm not against the liposomal vitamin C. I will say that. I understand it. Now there's one other one. If you are looking, and this would be practitioner based, if you're looking to, if you believe a client has metals in the brain, a product called a liposomal alpha lipoic acid or alpha lipoic acid could be beneficial. More expensive, specialty product, but again, this is a specialty case. So I'm not an all for one. I think there's a time and place for everything, but for the most part, I'm not all liposomal all the time. Hopefully that was helpful, Lynn. All right, Jenna's up next. Jenna says, I had 6 meniscus, 1 PCL, and 2 ACL surgeries. Wow, Jenna, that's a lot going on with the knee. So meniscus is basically the pad, the cushion pad, the disc, kind of, I know it's overall generalization, in between the two big heads of the lower and upper leg. So you've got your fibula and tibia below, and you've got your femur above. And then they're going to sit on the anticular cartilage that wraps around them. And then in between is the meniscus, the disc, right? The cushion. And then the ACL and MCL and PCL, all of those are going to be ligaments that are holding that knee and basically not allowing it to just twist off to the side, right? So like that prevents that twisting motion because knees are meant to be hinge joints. When they twist, that's when you tear the ACL, PCL, MCL, etc. So, you go on to say you're a collegiate soccer player. Yeah, those are the most injuries. The most injuries, believe it or not, are in soccer players. Well, that's one of the most, and mainly women. And that's because actually of the hip-based angle. So the hip angle is different than in men. So they found that women, collegiate or even high school soccer players get more ACL injuries than men because of that hip-based angle. All right, so let's keep going. I mean, like literally going off on so many different tirades here, but let's move on to Jenna's actual question. I've noticed in my mid-20s, after half of the surgeries, I would get a deep tingling and itch in my thighs while taking walks. I could prevent it from getting out of control if I had tight compression workout pants on, but if I wore shorts, game over. I would scratch my thighs till it broke blood vessels. I don't know if it's neurological or a lymph flood issue, but no one seems to understand what I'm talking about. I would love an answer. I listened to the podcast about tingling skin, but I'm not sure where to start. Yeah, I'm happy to help with this. So I don't know if it's happened to you anymore, but it is a blood flow, inflammation, and nerve issue. So you're right, like on all accounts, and your gut was correct. So this can happen after surgery. You're literally cutting a specific area. That area then, as healing, needs more blood flow. That means bringing more nutrients to the area as well as white blood cells to get rid of the damaged tissue. You need the lymphatic system to take away that waste as well and the edema and the fluid in the waste from the tissue. And you need enzymes to help break down some of that fibrin so the scars don't keep getting thicker and thicker, especially as you massage that area and break it up. And the last part is the nerves. So the nerves could be damaged or inflamed from this process, and that can cause that itchiness as well. All of this is not uncommon. Typically lasts from weeks to months, but should not be years. Years can signal a nerve impingement, or it could be nerve impingement is one of the biggest ones. Now, all of this could be a histamine-based issue. I'm not saying that that may not be the case, but probably not likely if it's directly after surgery. Yes, mast cells and histamines help with the cytokine, the increase in cytokines, or it's triggered by that from the inflammation. But once you start to decrease the inflammation, that shouldn't be an issue, especially if you were to try something like Hispro, 2 capsules 3 times a day. You could certainly try that if you thought it was histamine-based, but try rebounding. Try self-massage or dry brushing. I find self-massage with an Ayurvedic-based oil, an Abhyanga oil, to be much more effective, all right? So stretching, foam rolling, self-massage, those are the ones that I'm gonna recommend, all right? Helped a lot of clients with this, without a doubt, so especially surgery-wise. All right, so we've answered 3, we've got 2 more. Hi, Dr. Brawl. This is from Anonymous. Hi, Dr. Brawl. Thanks for all you do. I was just wondering how often and how much Moringa powder is safe to use. Would it be okay to add to a smoothie alongside with the greens powder and DNS? I have Moringa tree and I have a Moringa tree. Amazing. And like to make my own powder. What are your thoughts on creatine before or after workout? Thank you. All right, so we get a couple questions in there. So I think Moringa powder can be great. It provides a lot of minerals and it's not inexpensive. It's one more product, but if people want to use it, it can be a great product. Contains a lot of natural minerals, can give you natural energy, can be good for the skin, can be a powerful antimicrobial, anti-aging. So if you have a Moringa tree, grind it down to a fine powder, add it to your smoothie, you're good to go. I think that's great. But just make sure that you dry the leaves out and then you grind them down before adding them to your smoothie. Just don't add a leaf to the smoothie. You won't get the benefits. All right. So grind it down. That'll be great. Obviously you're growing in organic soil, I'm sure. So amazing. Creatine before, after, or before a workout. Yeah, either. Honestly, either. Truthfully, you can take creatine in the morning, and it's been shown to, especially if you get a lack of sleep, taking creatine can boost cognitive performance just with 5 grams a day. You can take it pre-workout for a little bit of an ATP boost, but it really works better when it's been in your system for at least 4 to 6 weeks. So all of this just takes time to build up in your system. So use it, what I say, any time of the day that you would like. That's it. Any time of the day that you want, mix 5 grams in a smoothie or with your favorite beverage, however you want to take it. Back in my, I don't recommend this, but back in my day when it first started being really used, like in the 90s, I probably used it around 96. Yeah, somewhere around there, 95, 96. I took a spoonful in my mouth. I would then wash it down with grape juice. I have no doubt it was not organic. And I'd swish it around because grape juice has high levels of dextrose, and I would be able to, then it's shown to be able to get better absorption. And don't worry about any of that. Honestly, you can literally just mix it with a smoothie and you can get great benefits from that over time. All right, let's get one more question today. It's from Laura. Laura says, hi, Dr. Cabral. Thank you so much for sharing all of your experience and knowledge with the community. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate that. I've dealt with gut issues probably my whole life, and I've been told probably that I have SIBO and Candida. So I'm currently doing the CBO protocol. At the end of my protocol, my family has a trip planned to go to Tokyo, Japan. Do you have any tips for me of what I can do not to ruin all my progress and keep my gut bacteria healthy? Should I start the CBO finisher while I'm there? I'm also interested in doing the parasite cleanse. Can I do the para cleanse while I'm doing the CBO finisher after I get home? Any travel suggestions would be great. Thank you so much. All right. So I'm assuming that you're maybe going for a week, maybe 2 weeks to Tokyo. No problem at all. You will begin the CBO finisher because it's only 2 products. It's going to be your probiotic. That's very specific. You'll know what I'm talking about. Again, everybody can see what the CBO protocol and CBO finisher is at stephencabral.com/shop. Takes you over to Equilife. CBO protocol is the world-renowned protocol used by thousands of practitioners around the world and tens of thousands of people every single year to rebalance their gut. Get rid of the bloating, get rid of the gas, rebalance everything, improve nutrient absorption. CBO finisher is what you do after it. And that heals and seals the gut wall, like the leaky gut that many of us have heard about. Okay, so you'll do that directly after the CBO protocol. Once you get back from your trip, then you can begin the parasupport protocol for the parasites, and that would be totally fine. So just wait till you get back, and then you can add that right in, all right? And you can do it concurrently, so at the same time as the CBO finisher, the parasupport would be fine, all right? All right, Laura, enjoy your trip. Hopefully this has been helpful, and I have no doubt that you're seeing a lot of results doing that CBO protocol. Take care, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new Cabral HouseCall. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.